Hey guys, what's happening? Jamie here from Unbox. It's 2018 and while we've been introduced to new trends in mobile devices, people are still definitely in the market for selfie-centric smartphones. A couple of days ago, Vivo launched their new entrant to the selfie wars of this year, the Vivo V9, promising higher quality self-portraits. But is it worth your consideration? Let's find out in this full review. Okay, let's get this out of the way. Aesthetically, the phone is heavily influenced by design cues brought about by the Essential phone and of course, the Apple iPhone X. It's hard to ignore the similarities, but you've got really nice slim bezels and we think that the aesthetic will start to grow on people. Aside from the notch, there are hints of it in the back as well with the orientation of the dual cameras. Despite that, the V9 maintains certain aspects that make it a Vivo device. It's familiar and almost like its predecessors with a pinstripe antenna bands on top and the bottom of its unibody build. The V9 is primarily built out of polycarbonate plastic and given a finish to make it appear metallic. The brand does include a case out of the box to make sure you have some form of protection. Up in front is that 6-inch Full HD Plus IPS display at an aspect ratio of 19:9. While some of you may not like the notch, the added real estate definitely brings something to the table, and the panel performs well with a good visual punch, great viewing angles, and just enough brightness for use in the summer sun. Under the hood of the Vivo V9 is a Qualcomm Snapdragon 626 processor with 4GB of RAM and 64GB of expandable storage. We would have wanted a 600 series processor that's a little bit more current, but it still performs adequately with enough muscle for daily use. For gaming, of course, we tested out the device on the recently released PUBG Mobile. The system defaulted to low and we definitely think that it's the sweet spot for getting the smoothest frame rates. True to form, the V9 runs on the company's FunTouch OS version 4.0 with Android Oreo 8.1 as its base. It's always had a similarity to iOS and we were expecting it to add a few functionalities to utilize the notch, but sadly this was not the case. As mentioned earlier, the Vivo V9 has dual rear cameras at 16 megapixels plus a 5 megapixel depth sensor, and the results from these pair of shooters are pretty good. Colors are a little bit more saturated, but they don't look too overly processed either. The portrait mode does a decent job of giving you that simulated depth of field with more hits than misses. While the rear cameras do a great job, the real story here is the front camera. No dual camera setup here since that minuscule notch can only hide a few things. But you do have a 24 megapixel front camera for taking great selfies. This time, Vivo has jumped on the AI beautification craze, so you don't have to tweak your settings manually. The results are tame and the skin smoothening plus brightening doesn't go overboard, but you are losing a bit of sharpness. Aside from straight up taking selfies, the V9 comes equipped with a group selfie mode which is similar to Samsung's implementation, and you also have some AR stickers as well. Powering the device is a 3260 mAh battery, which has enough juice to last the whole day and get you through your commute home, though you will have to make sure you charge the device before going to bed. Battery benchmark tests have it clock in a time of 8 hours and 54 minutes. The Vivo V9 and most devices that utilize a notch will definitely be the subject to a lot of criticism, and we're quite sure that some of you have already dismissed the device by following the current trend, but the company's focus on upping their selfie game each and every year pays off. While its software may need a bit more polish, the V9 performs rather well all around and the new additions give it a little bit more oomph. It's been given a price tag of $17,990, and at that price point it's facing a ton of competition from the usual suspects and a certain brand that's recently returned as well. One thing we can be certain of though is that the initial shots have been fired for the selfie wars of 2018, and it's a big one. If you're looking for a device that can take awesome selfies, the Vivo V9 is well worth considering. And that's pretty much it for this full review for the Vivo V9. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section down below, and we'll try to get to them as soon as we can. For all the latest tech news and gadget reviews, head to unbox.ph and follow us on Facebook as well. This is Jamie, and I'll see you next time.